1977 was packed with disco fever, soft rock classics, singer-songwriter ballads, and soul-funk grooves. But a handful of records rose above the noise and became songs we still know by heart. Here are 10 songs from 1977 we'll never forget. Number 10, Best of My Love by The Emotions. In a Los Angeles studio under Maurice White's direction, shimmering clavinet and hand claps were stacked with feather-light horns and a bass line that smiles as it moves. Best of My Love arrived on the Emotions Rejoice album in 1977, with Clarence McDonald co-producing and Columbia steering the release into summer airplay. The record glows with tight unison vocals that bloom into sudden airborne harmonies, a precision that comes from years honing church-bred phrasing. A crisp 4 on the floor keeps the groove buoyant, while congas chatter at the edges, giving the dance floor a gentle lift rather than a shove. The song reached number 1 on the charts in 1977, cementing the trio's crossover moment. Listen close to the rhythm guitar panned slightly right. It's the metronome of the arrangement, locking each chorus in place. This single became a template for post-EWF pop soul. Bright, clean, joyful, with every element pocketed so tightly you can feel the breath between the notes. Number 9, Just the Way You Are by Billy Joel. Phil Ramone coaxed a wary songwriter to keep a tender outlier on the stranger, trusting the quiet to carry. Just the Way You Are emerged from those 1977 sessions with electric piano at its core, saxophone lines from Phil Woods drifting like warm air, and a rhythm section playing as soft as a suggestion. The single reached number 3 on the charts in 1978, a slow burn climb that outlasted louder tracks of the era. Ramone's production folds in subtle plate reverb and leaves room for breath, giving the vocal a conversational weight. I'll take you just the way you are. This ballad would later take Record and Song of the Year at the 1979 awards, proof that restraint can travel. You can hear the drummer feathering the hi-hat in the verses, letting the backbeat bloom only when the chorus opens. The song doesn't chase a climax. Instead, this recording trusts patience, and by the final tag, the melody feels inevitable, like a decision finally made. I want you just the way you are. Number 8, I Feel Love by Donna Summer. Munich's Musicland control room vibrated with cable hum and blinking sequencers as Giorgio Moroder and Pete Bellotte built a grid no drummer could hold. I Feel Love took shape almost entirely from oscillators, with a Moog modular clocking arpeggios, while Donna Summer floated above like a navigator, not a passenger. The single hit number 1 on the charts in 1977 in multiple countries, a breakthrough that signaled electronic pop's mainstream moment. You can hear the filter sweeps open slightly on each phrase, a physiological tug that makes the tempo feel faster without actually moving. This track's all-synth bed was radical for the 1970s disco world, where live rhythm sections still ruled. Moroder's click-tight production left DJs room to blend, and the extended mix turned clubs into long, continuous exhalations. Decades later, producers still chase that locked chrome heartbeat. The song essentially drafted the blueprint for synth-driven dance music that would define the early 1980s and beyond. Number 7. We Are the Champions by Queen.
I paid my dues, time after time.
Released as a double A-side with its stomping counterpart, the anthem took shape at Wessex Sound Studios with layers of gang vocals built like masonry.
I've had my share of sadness in my past, but I've got through.
We Are the Champions arrives not as a sing-along so much as a coronation, with Brian May's guitar answering each phrase in measured bursts.
We are the champions, my friend.
The single reached number 4 on the charts in 1978, after dropping late in 1977 alongside its companion. Queen produced the track themselves, with engineer Mike Stone capturing Freddie Mercury's stacked leads so precisely you can almost see the faders move.
Taking my vows and my curtain call.
This recording's slow, martial pulse is deliberate. It gives arenas time to breathe between waves of harmony. Key detail: the piano is slightly detuned against the guitars, a subtle tension that makes the final modulation feel like a door thrown wider.
And we'll be back fighting through the air.
Over decades of games and ceremonies, this cut has become ritual. Yet it began as a meticulously assembled studio construction, brick by brick.
And we'll be back fighting.
Number 6. I Just Want to Be Your Everything by Andy Gibb.
You and me been finding each other for so long.
Before his debut album hit the racks, Barry Gibb shaped a falsetto-soaked calling card for his younger brother with the trusted Gibb Galutin Richardson team. I Just Want to Be Your Everything arrived on RSO in 1977, recorded in Miami with strings and rhythm laid down to spotlight an airy lead that never strains.
If you give a little more than you're asking for, your love will turn again.
The single reached number 1 on the charts in 1977, a summer run that announced a new star apart from the family group. Listen for the acoustic guitar tucked under the verses. It's the glue that softens the edges of the disco-leaning pulse.
Open up the heaven in your heart and let me be the things you are to me.
This track's chord lifts are pure late 1970s craft, giving DJs obvious places to cue but keeping the melody front and center.
I just wanna be your everything.
The song's success gave the album its engine before release windows had fully stabilized, a savvy timing play by the label. By year's end, this single had become radio's shortcut to warm weather and open windows. We're halfway through, and the sounds of 1977 are already bringing back some deep cuts. Which of these songs did you grow up with? Or maybe discover years later on a dusty record or random playlist? Got a favorite song we didn't include? Drop it in the comments. We'd love to hear the tracks that stuck with you. Number 5. Got to Give It Up, Part 1 by Marvin Gaye. A studio party in Los Angeles, cowbell, chatter, and glasses clinking, wasn't meant to be a single. It was a groove experiment tacked onto a live release. Got to Give It Up, Part 1 became the runaway story of 1977, produced by Marvin Gaye himself and issued on Motown's Tamla imprint. The record reached number 1 on the charts in 1977, sliding from club playlists into daytime radio without losing its loose, teasing bounce. Hand percussion and a rubbery bass do most of the work, while the keyboards drip glassy stabs, leaving miles of negative space. This cut's call and response background vocals were tracked like walla, not choir, so the party never sounds staged. You can hear faders ride the crowd noise between sections, a subtle proof of its studio roots. The single's success nudged disco toward lighter, more percussive textures, opening lanes for minimalist dance records through the end of the 1970s. Number 4, Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. Celebration and scholarship blur here. a pop giant saluting the jazz heroes who taught him to swing before the hits. Sir Duke burst from the songs in the Key of Life sessions with a horn line that feels like confetti. We're all under Stevie Wonder's own production hand. The track reached #1 on the charts in 1977, proof that a tribute could move bodies as easily as memories. Listen to the syncopated claps tucked under the verses, and the way the bass walks with 3 notes where most would use 2, small choices that make the groove buoyant. This single's arrangement is a masterclass in voice leading. Every counterline has a destination. Cut in Los Angeles with Wonder directing a tight studio unit, the record keeps its joy disciplined, never messy. By the time the final tag resolves, the song has introduced its teachers to a new crowd and folded jazz history into the pop vocabulary of the 1970s. Number 3, Dreams by Fleetwood Mac.
Now there you go again, you say you want your free.
Amid the breakup haze of rumors, Stevie Nicks ducked into a small side room at the record plant, once Sly Stone's lair, to sketch a hypnotic progression on a Rhodes.
Loneliness like a beat drives you mad.
Dreams grew from that privacy into the band's most measured groove, with Mick Fleetwood locking a simple kick-snare pattern and John McVie drawing a melodic bass line you can hum. The song reached #1 on the charts in 1977, the group's lone time at the top for a single. Producers Ken Kayat and Richard Dashut kept the arrangement spare, letting Lindsey Buckingham's guitar filigree and Christine McVie's harmonies glint at the edges.
Have you any dreams you'd like to say?
This track breathes in long phrases. Even the tambourine waits until it matters. You can hear room reflections more than effects, a choice that keeps the performance human despite the tabloid storm.
I keep my vision to myself.
Decades later, this single's pulse still feels like a confident walk away rather than a sprint, which is exactly its power. Number 2, Stayin' Alive by Bee Gees. A broken schedule forced ingenuity. With the drummer back in England, the production team built a tape loop of 2 bars and let it run for the entire take. Stayin' Alive rode that mechanical heartbeat, tracked in 1977 under the Gibb Richardson banner, and readied for a December release tied to a film. The single reached #1 on the charts in 1978, an early-year surge that made the soundtrack unavoidable. You can hear guitars chucked like percussion, strings punching accents, and hand claps tucked mid-image, tiny gears in a larger machine. This track's arrangement leaves clear lanes for the vocal stacks to climb without smothering the groove. Criteria: Studios Hall sound sneaks into the snare tail, adding width without reverb haze. When radio compressed everything, the pulse only grew denser, turning commutes into dance floors. In the late 1970s, this single became shorthand for motion itself, all forward tilt and neon promise. Number 1, Hotel California by Eagles.
On the dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair.
A 12-string figure sketched by Don Felder became a widescreen canvas as producer Bill Shimchick pushed for late-night takes across coasts. Hotel California emerged as a 1977 single with a release in February. Guitars layered until the closing duet felt like a single thought spoken by 2 players.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
The record reached #1 on the charts in 1977, a peak that matched how omnipresent it sounded on radio. You can hear the room bleed in the opening, then the reverb tails lengthen as the arrangement grows, a simple way to widen the picture without losing focus. This track leans on 12-string sparkle, dry rhythm strums, and patient drums that never rush the tempo. The lyrics' imagery pulled headlines, but it's the arrangement that keeps listeners returning.
The pretty, pretty boys, she calls friend.
In the late 1970s, this single was a driving companion on highways and desert nights, its final solo etched into muscle memory by repetition and craft.